Yeah, so my video just got disconnected, I'm continue. This will have to be a part two. Such a beautiful morning how it started with the rain. So now the rain are going away. So hard sometimes to get a good weather, and when you do get the weather, it's such a beauty, it's such a charm. Um, like I was saying, technology can be used for good, it can be used for bad. In some of the schools of technology, you can find that people, they're not so given to morals and discipline. If you see some of the people who are what you call the disciples or the representatives of technology, many of them are devoid. I say many, I'm not saying all. Many of them are devoid of good conduct, proper language, proper vocabulary, proper ethics. These are lacking. They lack in luster, in good manners. They are vicious, but there are also those, like many scientists and doctors, who are kind. They are close to nature. They are gardeners of the universe. They're helpful. They're inventive. They're creative. Very intelligent. But intuitionally, spirituality, they might or might not be deficient. But like Hippocrates said, that God, that doctor who is a philosopher, is a god on earth. So we see when the twin flames of passion and science and love of God are there, it makes a human being complete, perfect. And technology has its own defect today. I'm seeing religion is being killed by the interest and the zeal and the love and the enchantment and allurements of technology and inventions and science, the marvels of science. The ashrams and the spiritual centers are closing down. The monks and the nuns and the devotees are putting on fancy habiliments, clothes, and decorating themselves in modern ways. They're saying, oh, religion and technology has all the answers. But as I say, it's just a phase, it's just a cycle, a social cycle. All these things will eventually kill you, they will eventually destroy you if you don't put spirituality first place. Spirituality has to give first place, everything else second place. From religion, we get everything. We get bodily pleasure, bodily health, sound mind. And if we don't have it now, it comes gradually. We just have to be patient. Some people say, well, not in one life, in many lifetime it will come. For example, let's say Hinduism and yoga. You cannot get full realization in one life unless you've been practicing in previous life before. You know, you've been practicing in previous lifetimes before. Then you will come to that ultimate realization and become a Buddha or a Jesus or a Goraknath or a Mahavir or a Ananda Murti or a Sai Baba. So not right away we become like this. What the Chinese refer to as cultivation. You have to utilize each moment, each situation, circumstance to grow and improve. And for this, it calls for an awareness and insight into every event of our living life, every moment, every second. We have to feel a profundity and a depth that is like eternity. That the one moment could be like 15 years if we could plunge into it deeply, fully, consciously. You can see the profundity of each moment. That's the spiritual portals and dimensions I speak about. So the allurements of technology and science, modern living and civilization are there. There have been so many great civilizations before. Lemura, Mu, Atlantis. There have been great civilizations that boast, they say, greater technology than we have now. For example, Atlantis, and it just sank beneath the sea. It went under the sea, Lemura. I think they said Lemura or Mu. I don't know which one the two. These two supercontinents, either of them was India long ago, old India in ancient times. So they say long ago in India before humans appear, it was went by other names, Gondwanaland, and all these names that they had before when it drifted. There was continental drifting. It went under names, and they said that time they were other forms, living life forms there. It might not have been humans. They could have been aliens, what we call the gods and the goddesses. For example, the Hindu tradition God does not go back to a stone age or a primitive age, a age of barbarians, though there might be tribes or sects that are primitive or undeveloped, but it goes back to an era of technology, science, gods, aliens, superhumans, and so that's why many scientists, many researchers, many investigations have an interest in those places, those ancient civilizations. They're digging up artifacts, they're conducting researches to find many things about our ancient history and ancient technology that was there, Whether India was more Lemuria, we don't know, but the thing is that civilization come and disappear. There were many great civilizations before, many marble floors and statue, many marvels, and these all were reduced to rubbles and stones and marbles. These disappeared. So what people are going after technology, they will be deceived, their throat will be cut, they will be fooled. Baba himself, Ananda Murtiji, the guru of Ananda Marg, he said, if you hold on to Prakriti, you hold on to the material things, these things around you, it will deceive you, it will stab you in the back, and then you will lose everything. You have no spirituality, they said, hold on to your Ishta, your spiritual practices, your spirituality, Bhagavad Dharma they call it. Be faithful to that and give everything else second place. In fact, they say that through spirituality things appear more beautiful, things become more enchanting, material things, temptations, but if you hold on to it, it disappears. We see this in many movies, like in The Thief of Baghdad with Kabir Bedi. When he was going into this dark place, he went into this and he tried to hold on to anything you see you hold on to, it turn into stone, and you turn into stone also. So there's a symbolism of this Maya, the Maya, the Yoga Maya. It can boast of technology, it can boast of allurements and temptations of attachments so very strong, that they can deceive you and they can make you throw your orange clothes, your white clothes, your turban, your staff, your mustache, your beard. Just take them off and put on your earrings and your markings, like these tribal people, they have paints, war paints they put on. You can put on your paints to give an aura, a feeling, or create an impression. You want a spiritual aura, you want a divine aura, you want a subtle aura, or you want a material aura to make you people uncomfortable in your presence. So spirituality and spiritual practice give you a pleasant appearance, it give you a peaceful soul, it give you a beautiful countenance, it makes you agreeable, harmonious with nature, with creation. But though for those who are new in the practices, some people you will not see anything, maybe 5 years, maybe 10, maybe 15, 20, depending on the level of development. It's a slow process, but it's permanent. And another thing too, spirituality, it's like walking a razor edge. If you little moment, you can topple and fall, and all your progress that you gain can just disappear. You have to start again. Share the story with Sage Vishwaminch, the rishi who invented the Gayatri Mantra. The Gayatri Mantra, or Savitri Rik as they call it, is a mantra they say when you repeat it all the time, you gain with light, intelligence, fearlessness, progress, development, prosperity. This has been proven by Pandit Sharma, the great famous Pandit Sharma from India, who wrote all these books on Gayatri Parivar and so on. He experimented with the Gayatri Mantra, and he became a great seer and great sage, through his experiments. So spiritual does transform us personally. You can, like Swami Sivananda was saying, my field is not politics, it is not science, it is not finance, it is not society. My field is spiritual field. It can help you spiritually. Can transform the personality. But when you want science and this, there are a host of people who are dedicated to that field, to make exploration, discovery, invention, progress. So everything is evolving, not only living things, but in the scientific and physical aspects also. There are documentation being made, there are records and researches to invent, to modify, to better, to improve things, so that our life can be easier and better. But these things can keep us engaged also. But if we don't have the mind to enjoy it, they will enjoy us and eventually destroy us. So there's the clique and there's the deception, there's the catch with everything. Like everything, there's a price to pay, Like God, like the Bible says, was it? You seek the whole world, but you lose your soul. I want this, I want that. Everything you see, you want. You keep holding on to all these allurements, but you lose sight of the star, the guiding light, the star in the skies, that is guiding you, the wondrous light. So you lose your destination, you lose your journey, you lose your goal. So technology and science are there to help to make life easier and better. And it's not the means or the ends, though people get caught up in fighting to get it, to secure it, to obtain it, to own it, to have it, to bring it home. It feels that will make their life beautiful. Of course, we do need the basic things in life. And if we don't get them, we can't even practice spirituality or lead a spiritual life. Vivekananda himself said that. He said, if your belly is not full, you tell a man about God and interested in God. God feeds food. But when you have food, then you can think about improving the spirit, the soul, the body. So you have to have enough. Each nation should be taught how to utilize its resources to make life better for its citizens. That's what they say proud in the progressive utilization, proper utilization, proper distribution. They speak about, some people will get more than some, depend upon the capacity and their the value in society and their contribution and their valuability, their worth. They will get more than more. So you have your equitable distribution of power and physical amenities and so on. So the wonderful world of living, the wonderful world of physicality is as complicated as those of the spirit and those of the psyche. They say the great scientists and the great inventors that we're creating so much marvel around us, they actually came out from the psychic dimension, the mental planes, the psychic planes. And it's so marvelous, the technology of the mind and the mind and the psyche, the cognitive processes, how much invention it is bringing, how much technology it is bringing. How we can't read all of these things, all these books that are being written today. So much storage the mind has, so much information it can conceive and process and produce. So that's the marvel of the psyche, the mental world. And then we have the saints and the holy ones. They say they come from the spiritual plane. Sapta lokatmakam brahmamam. It says in the mind of God, there are 8 lower higher planes and there are also 8 lower planes. The lower planes is like Tal, Atal, Patal, Rasatal, Tal, Atal, and all these lower plane that is very destructive to some people, to their body, the mind. You feel sick, feel nauseous, you feel tired, you feel depressed. That's when you expose to energy from the lower plane, So then again, we have the higher plane that we see many marvels of different sorts, So when people usually go in the higher planes, they don't want to come down back. They say like in Nirvikalpa Samadhi, if you get this higher state of mind, there's Sabikalpa, there's Nirvikalpa. If you get this higher state, you don't want to come back. If you stay in it for about 21 days, you leave the body. You can't stay on planet Earth anymore. Like the Anandamar Guru, they were asking him, you were always projecting the picture of meditation, of one who is engrossed in some abstract occupation and mental engagement. What is your meditation? The disciple asked him, Some of the disciples were profound thinkers, some of them were highly evolved souls from past lives. So they asked him, what is the meditation you're doing? He said, he didn't tell him right way, but one he chose to tell him. He said, your meditation or the techniques I give you is to always think that you're divine. Because the human mind always tend to go down. It thinks I'm a sinner, I'm a sinner, I'm a sinner, I'm a bad person, I'm a human, I'm limited, I don't have the capacity to do this, I can't do that. But he said you should think all the time that I am divine, I am He, I'm just like my Father in heaven, I'm divine, I'm virtuous, I have a lot of potential, I have a lot of quality, I have so much things to do, I have so much work, so much marvelous thing to experience, to see. Those are kind of thoughts you should incorporate as human being, as earthling, as voyagers on this plane, this terrestrial plane. So he said, my meditation, what I do, I think, I am human, I am human, I am human. I'm like everybody else. He said, because if we think in a strain or in the context of I am God, I am divine, I am pure, I am holy, I am transcendent, he said he will leave the body. So you have to be guided in the spiritual plane. Just got to have teachers to teach you in the physical plane. You have teachers to teach you in the mental and the spiritual plane. The mental plane, which involve all the mundane sciences, science, finance, economics, bitcoins, and all these things that we deal with now, So that's our mental field. So we have people who can guide us there. While in the spiritual field, we also need guides. As vast as the mental plane is, vaster yet is the plane of spirituality. You haven't started to see it. You haven't started to know yet. So we can see in the meanwhile that while we're bargaining with our spiritual heritage, with our spiritual nature, we are losing our essence, we are losing our life, we are losing our lust, our beauty, we are losing our being, our existence, our life. Look what's happening all around us now. The young people who are going so much after the allurements of the worldly temptation, their lifespan has decreased. Many people are living up to 60, 50 years in this country. Now we want to know how the Taoist masters, how the yogis, they are living hundreds, thousands of years. Is this possible? Is this real? You hear yogis meditate for thousands of years. Like there's a yogi doing pranayam, deep advanced breathing, is living in a nest somewhere in the Himalaya. This is a nest. They call it a nest, but it was really like somewhere in the trees or in the rocks or in a cave. He's in samadhi there, high superconscious state. Let's see, even the war come and they throw atomic weapons and these uranium, and so the gas will not affect him because he suspended his breath. He's in a state of inner complexity, inner tranquility, So unless we can't meet these immortals and these people, we have to go stage by stage. For every teacher, there's another teacher. Every master has a master. As a martial artist, Joe Yams says in his book, Zen in the Art of Martial Arts. He said every master has a master, every teacher has a teacher. As you go and you go higher and higher, another teacher you will meet. Until you meet the great ones, like some people say they are the ascended masters. The ascended masters were once human beings, but through practice and through cultivation, they are able to elevate and develop themselves. And today they are worshipped. They are masters from Africa, from India, from all over the world, These people eventually are assembled together in one book, in one text, as the ascended master. So why we have so many divisions here on the earth plane? Who is brown, who is yellow, who is green, who is dirty, who is clean, who's uplifted, who's degenerate? We have these people are enjoying unity. And so, right? So all this disunity comes because all these problems come because man is disoriented from his inner self, from harmony with himself and creation. His circuits are not working smoothly, properly. So it's disharmony inside, it causes disharmony outside. What you are inside will affect your outside world. Our minds create our physical reality. Heaven and hell is right here with us. So that's the technology of spirit. So we have the physical technology, and how we gonna use it, we have to know our leaders, our spiritual leaders, our political leaders, our social leaders. They have to know how to steer the people around these things, that they don't get trapped by these physical and earthbound powers. There are so many powers: astrological, astronomical, physical, social, financial, economical. But the main thing is that we have to learn to balance with the forces. It's like walking with a tightrope. The tightrope walker knows how to balance. He has such good concentration that he could remain walking on the tightrope. So life is like that. We're walking on a tightrope. We know how to balance with all the forces. So this is what is my thoughts about technology today. Everywhere is a run, this new thing, that new thing, advances. But that's where all our finances is coming to make our life better, it seems, through technology. But yet we hear that these technological influences are coming from another source. And this other source might not be intellectual always. It might be people who are influencing you spiritually and in another way, but they need to influence the right people so that it can play out in the physical realm. No use I influence a man and he cannot play it out in the technological field. He's more barbaric and on the physical side. That's why there's a time for everything. The yogis might need to influence or project his influences, his mental creation, creative thoughts. He might need to influence a young man or a young scientist in such a way that he'll be able to use the dexterity of his hands, his digits, or his physical amenities to produce the product in his laboratory or so on. But if you don't have a lab, you don't have mercury, you don't have hydrogen, you don't have phosphorus, you cannot produce anything. Or you don't have a machine, you don't have levers and pulleys, you can't do anything, right? So that's why people ask why the yogis are going to the West. You see so many Indians are being deported from the West. Why are they there? Because maybe they are able to make contributions. There are many Indians today, or not only Indians, religious people who are going there, like the Chinese, maybe the Jews, maybe the Italians, maybe the Portuguese. They go there and they are able to play out in the physical level certain talents and certain inspiration, certain thoughts. They're able to make them reality, inventions, marvels that we are enchanting us at the lower planes. People at the lower planes, they come to us, we want to touch, we are fascinated, we get hypnotized by the television, we spend long hours there. But these are all creations given down by our brothers and sisters in science and spirituality. So we have to realize that things are connected and they play out differently, and they work out differently due to certain laws and certain powers that are controlling the world and the universe. So of course there are the dark powers and there are the good powers, the positive. The dark powers can be used as self-defense. Some people say it's easy, it's evil. But just as how technology is using bombs, missiles, poisons, allergens, they have chemical warfares, ballistic warfares. Just similarly in the spiritual realm, they are use the evil side, the dark side, also to defend themselves, their people, their church, their religion. People say it's evil. You should not mix white magic with black magic, spirituality with negativity, spirituality with the occult. But some people argue everything is God, everything is God's manifestation, everything is His projection. So He can use what He wants because everything is good if it's used properly, and if we have that state of mind, that realization that everything can be used for a particular purpose. So whether it's science or technology, it's the dance of Shiva, the dance of energy, it's the pulsating quasars of energy. As one physicist says, the whole creation is energy. It's a dance of energy, the dance of Shiva. It's a pulsating quasar of energy. So while Shiva is dancing, the creation is dying, it's reborn, getting rebirth, it's moving, it's transforming, it's decaying. All these are the tempos or the strums of the master violinist. you know so far for now, let's know our priorities. They say he who gives God second place gives him no place at all. Sure, Bindo himself, he say if you want to make progress in spirituality, make that your first interest, your priority, and everything else should be given second, third, fourth place. But the most important thing in spirituality, from that God can work through you to bring technology and science or wherever you need and so on. You know? So much for now. Namaskar and good morning. Have a pleasant day.